We're live.
We're live.
Welcome, everybody, to GNARCAST, episode 2.
What's up,
Here
fellas?
with Keepers of the Trees. Two of how many? Two of how many?
How many keepers
maybe,
are there?
Maybe we start there.
I don't think it's
how
really,
many keepers there are.
I don't think it's really set in stone, but to estimate, it's probably like, I don't know, 10 of us.
Right.
Or,
Yeah, all right.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's just whoever shows up to the session, I guess.
Right.
So how did Keepers of the Trees come about?
We all kind of during COVID, and then we all started kind of like, that's whenever he got into biking and like got into mountain biking, and I'd known him because we both ran cross country at the same school, and then like I had a few other friends that were riding, and we all just like really started to all ride together. And before it was like me and a bunch of like the older kids, and they kind of got out of mountain biking and went to college, so there was like a little time period where I had no one to ride with. And then I started meeting all these people in Fayetteville who got into riding, and then we all like, I don't know, like there wasn't as much of like, we didn't ever ride in Fayetteville just because like we liked being up in Bentonville, and now we do a lot of riding in Fayetteville, but we would just go up to Bentonville and then meet like Declan Hammerstone, Gabriel, and all those dudes, and then there was kind of like a Bentonville crew and a Fayetteville crew, and then we were like just all like hanging out, filming and digging every weekend. And then we were like, well, we could make a little Instagram page and a YouTube and kind of like make this thing a little bit more official, because we already all hang out, and it'd just be cool to like document it a little bit more.
Right. Yeah, like kind of put an official stamp on like the crew being the crew.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, and like I didn't even know he rode Luke until he was at like the rail yard one day hitting the mulch jump, and he was with some other kids.
Right.
Who, like, didn't
I was
ride
on like
that much.
my Marlin hardtail from 2016.
Right.
With like an Amazon fork on it.
It was.
Yeah.
Whatever works, man.
Yeah.
Done. So Keeper of the Trees, like who came up with that name?
I guess it was like we kind of threw around some other like little names, like abbreviations of like no dig, no ride and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of were just like more into like raw cut building and just like organic, like film, like making stuff just like original, not super overproduced, just like kind of like just trying to document like our experiences and our riding like in a more raw way. And like less, and like I guess it's like environmentalist, not really, but
so you're not,
we were gonna ask that actually.
You're a tree activist. Or,
yeah, we're basically tree huggers. I mean.
Right.
Oh, okay.
That was the idea.
Or
to
just
be
like
tree huggers.
a litter of Sasquatch kids that are like going, hey, you can't ride here, coming out of the trees.
Right. You know, also, by the way, for the GNARCAST audience, I do have to introduce Scot Ripple. First time on the podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the new sidekick
Yeah.
every once in a while.
Every once in a while, one of the sidekicks.
Okay.
Yeah. But that was one of the things that we were talking about coming in, was like where like the name could be taken so many different ways.
Yeah.
You know, but like I think that's cool because it kind of like makes people think about it.
Yeah, and
you know,
it's also like we take a lot of inspiration from like 50 to 1 and stuff, and we didn't want to have to like isolate ourselves into mountain biking.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
also,
for sure.
I mean, because like a lot of us love like vintage clothes and selling stuff, so like
for sure
we like, you know, do that, and you know, also like making like, I mean, I've done like videos for like the wrestling team at our school because I used to wrestle, and like just kind of like being like a media thing.
Sure.
Like just kind of like we can branch it off into whatever way we want. And so we just didn't want to isolate ourselves to just like a mountain biking specific name.
Right.
Kind of like how like 50 to 1, like you don't, whenever you think 50 to 1, it's not like, I mean, if you told someone that they wouldn't
know what it is, but they would, you know, like if the right person heard it, they would be like, oh, 50 to 1.
Exactly.
You know, like kind of like how when if we hear it.
No, it's always smart not to pigeonhole yourself into like one genre of thing, because you never know.
Exactly.
You never know what you branch off into.
Yeah. So Luke, you got hurt recently?
Yeah, I did.
So you gotta tell me about that. Let's spin off to that for a second.
So yeah, I broke my left collarbone.
Oh.
Doing a pretty gnarly gap at Angel Fire.
Really?
last
Oh, okay.
weekend.
Oh, geez.
Wow.
Yeah.
He somehow doesn't have a sling on. I pulled up to his house and he walked out without a sling on. And I was like,
Dude.
dude,
Yeah.
you broke it like literally less than a week ago.
Are you
Yeah.
sure you're fine?
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
Plates
Yeah,
and screws over there.
Is there anything visible that looks gnar?
I got surgery Monday. It's all
Oh,
solid
really?
right now. Yeah,
Dude,
Yeah.
crazy. So you're fresh out of surgery too.
you could say that.
I mean, like kind of fresh out of
Yeah,
surgery.
I feel fine.
Yeah, cool.
There
cool.
you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's
Glad you guys made it
trucking
out.
through it.
Yeah,
Right
for
on.
sure.
yeah.
That's funny, dude.
Dang, banger.
And so Gabe, yeah, just so everybody else knows that we do have an empty chair. That is intentional.
Mhm.
We got Gabriel coming. He should pop in at some point in time in this podcast.
Believe
hopefully.
it or not, but he was doing schoolwork.
Oh,
he was at
he- oh,
the
that's
ACT
good. That's
testing.
good to know.
Believe it or not, but we are not homeschooled. We all go to school.
Right.
So racing, you guys are into racing?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
you
that's
guys racing next weekend?
Yes, sir. We are. We
Well, I'm not. But
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
not. But we were supposed to race NICA this weekend, but it got canceled. Obviously,
It got
because
rained
all the
out,
rain.
and they don't have a date set, right?
It's next weekend. So
Oh, they just
now
pushed
it's,
it.
It's either
Mhm.
NICA or enduro, and
Oh,
obviously I'm
so
gonna pick enduro.
you have to
Yeah.
choose.
But
Whoa.
there's not too many people that are like into both, like that
Oh,
race
right.
both.
Like
Yeah.
this, because like the NICA stuff is cross country,
Yeah.
more cross country, and AES
and
is
it's also
enduro.
not like it's also not. I mean, a lot of the courses are a lot more like traditional cross country, like
Right.
woodsy single track. Nothing that's like. I mean, if you look at the real like World Cup cross country courses nowadays, they are legit, and they
Yeah, they're
have
gnarly.
big rocks, big berms.
It's like what an
gaps.
enduro course would be back 5 years ago or something like
with
that.
with some technical climbing, and it's
Mhm.
like just a lot more. I mean, because cross country racing used to just be a lot of like road. It was just like fit. If a road biker can, I mean, get on a bike with a little bit more suspension and basically do some like road racing on dirt, then it's
they
like,
could do cross country.
Then they can do cross country, yeah.
Yeah.
But now it's like you got to actually be a serious rider, and you.
Would you say that it's getting to a point where the cross country and enduro is getting like merged a little bit, or what would you like as far as like the riders and then the style of courses?
I would say, I mean, there are a lot of people that do both enduro and cross country.
Okay.
Probably not like, I think a lot of people like, especially, I mean, a lot of like American enduro racers, and I mean, I think people enjoy cross country, like enduro racers enjoy cross country racing a lot because it's just different and it's a fun way to spice it up. And I wouldn't say there's anyone that's like a pro cross country racer and a pro enduro racer.
Right.
But you do see a lot of enduro racers doing gravel cross country, like marathon races in the off season.
Sure.
I would say. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would say it's more enduro going in with downhill more than.
Oh,
cross-country.
right. Like the enduro stuff is starting to kind of get into some downhill territory.
And
Yeah.
Okay,
and that's
okay.
what I mean. I don't know if you've seen, but the World Cup series for enduros kind of just like it's kind of going to crap for the U.S. people especially.
okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean, at Lake Leatherwood in 2019, there was a Enduro World Series qualifier where
Right.
you could get points to go to the EWS,
Mhm.
and now there's like virtually no way to get points to go to the EWS in the
In
US.
states, yeah.
Without going, then you have to fund flights and everything to go to Europe, and then just to qualify, and you're gambling really big to go fly to Europe and possibly not even qualify for the big leagues.
Well, and probably only a few have sponsors that are that big
Exactly.
that can get you
or
there.
parents that are that
Or parents that'll take you guys there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I mean it's kind of screwed over a lot of the American enduro like younger
Mhm.
generation too, because it's like I mean that's kind of what I wanted to do. Was one of I wanted to kind of ride out racing as long as I could like through enduro because I just I love it, but now it's like kind of looking like I don't know if there's a path there like for going to the EWS, or I guess it's EDR now.
What's EDR? What's that stand
I
for?
don't know what it stands for, but it's like.
They changed it so UCI bought or like got the EWS Enduro World Series,
Okay.
Yeah.
And so they changed it into their own little thing. And basically that was in 2022. And since then it's kind of just been like gone downhill.
Right.
So currently there's no path right now, no alternative way to get there,
I mean,
or just you
I would
gotta look
say
for it?
BME and like Revolution and some of the bigger US NAEC, North American Enduro Cup.
Mhm.
You can kind of race those and, you know, travel up north and stuff. And if you can build up like big enough sponsors through that series, then you can maybe get the opportunity to go over there.
Mm-hmm.
But also it's like, is it really like, is it even worth it now to go over there? Like,
Yeah, it sounds like a
'cause,
stretch. Like,
I mean, it used to be like, you know, there were races kind of like all. I mean, it's the Enduro World Series.
Mhm.
Like, it's supposed to be world, not like
It,
Europe.
it's supposed to be something that's like I would say like representative of what America offers or offers as far as riders go. But if there's no way for the riders to get either recognition or placing to get into those, then how do you compete in the world?
Exactly. And I mean, also it's like the American, I mean, for the last probably like 5 years, American enduro racers and like downhill racers, there hasn't been a ton of like super great ones. But now with like Windrock and bike parks like that, out of like the Southeast and in California, Colorado, and some kids up in like Washington, Pacific Northwest,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's really starting to pick up its pace now. And like, there's a lot of kids on track to go to those races.
Right. You know, that's actually making me think of something that I saw recently. Didn't Aaron Gwynn get ownership of Windrock now?
Yeah, he just bought Windrock.
And so that's going to be, I mean, I imagine that's going to be something that he's going to want to push for, is like that place being used for stuff like that, like we were talking about Leatherwood.
Yeah. And I mean, me and my dad have been talking a lot about actually like maybe get it. I mean, I just kind of want to see like, because I've always been a stronger like just descender and like steep technical stuff. That's kind of always been my like strong suit at races. And like I always like will be like fourth on the pedally stages, and then like I'll win the stage that's actually steep and rocky.
Right.
And pro at the AES's.
Yeah,
so-
because you had third at the Fitz, right?
Mhm.
You got third. Luke, did you race in that one?
Yeah.
You did.
I got third in that one.
You got
for-
third in
in junior 16, 17.
Junior
And then
16,
you got
17.
first
Gotcha.
at the Little Rock
Yeah.
one.
Okay,
which
gotcha.
was a few weekends back.
Gotcha.
Like
Yeah, that.
we've looked at getting into downhill racing, like maybe just getting like maybe a downhill bike from GT or something, just borrowing a downhill
Oh,
bike
right.
for a race and just going out to like Windrock or something and just seeing
Yeah.
how I do.
Seeing
And
what like how you would place in a downhill race, and I would imagine too that probably has something to do with like the fact that our enduro courses might be getting into downhill, so it's like you're already kind of dipping your toes into downhill. It's like
especially
add a little bit.
with, I mean, like Luke had never been to a bike park, and Windrock isn't your true, like ski lift,
Traditional bike park,
Vail style bike
for
park.
sure.
But it's kind of like more than that. It's like I don't know. It kicks your butt. It's like
It's pretty.
it's so
intense.
gnarly,
Really?
and
Yeah.
it's you ride up in like a school bus or like
I was gonna ask about
sketchy
that.
shuttle truck.
What
Yeah.
their shuttle system was.
It's pretty good.
and
Like,
yeah,
it's not
and
bad.
it's
Yeah.
like, and yeah, the dudes always are like flying up the road and like
Rad.
whipping it around all the
Yeah.
corners, and
Rad.
all the bikes are super muddy, and
Yeah,
so
our bikes
it's-
were like the mud froze to our frames, and we had to like crack it off our frames.
Oh,
It was so
wow.
weird.
Yeah, it was. I mean, like it's just getting like so intense for races like the Tennessee Nationals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That it's like you're racing stuff like that's not too far off of like downhill,
True downhill.
territory.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like tighter and steeper at times because
Right.
of the bikes you're riding and stuff.
Have you guys rode Downhill Revolution in NWA Downhill Revolution?
I went out there in 2021.
Oh, okay. I think
Um,
they've done work since then, right? Like,
Yeah, they have.
Pretty sure.
And I think
Yeah.
Grant and Colton works for Rogue, and so
Yeah.
he's kind of like bounces around with jobs with them.
Mhm.
And Grant, he's always like he's traveling everywhere to build. And
Yes. Right.
So it's not like, it's not like there's just, you can go out there and ride any day of the week.
Right.
So
Yeah. It's only when they're around.
I just haven't, like, the last time, like, I was invited out to a session, I was in, like, New Mexico.
Oh,
And
gotcha.
so then it's like, yeah, it's hard to go ride there.
It's hard to get out there.
But
Well, we do have them on the podcast later in the season.
Yeah.
And we did coordinate with them to make sure that they were going to be around. I was like questioning, am I going to ask to like go out there?
yeah,
And just like, because I think somebody told me, and we were talking to Blake, I think, and it was like, oh, you need a downhill bike. And I was like, do you though? Because
Nah.
I don't know. I've never like
mean-
hit downhill, but yeah.
I've always ridden my enduro bikes on. I mean, I've raced like the downhill Rockies, like Angel Fire courses, or not raced them, but I've ridden them, like trying to ride them at race pace, like just imagining that I was on a downhill bike on my enduro bike.
Yeah.
And it's obviously going to be rougher, but I mean,
Right.
I don't think necessarily you need one for there.
Okay.
Because it's definitely more enduro bike territory, just because the mountain's not that, like, it's not big enough
Right.
to have, like, I mean you could in there's definitely sections where it'd benefit to have a downhill bike,
Right,
but
that
also
it's
some
just-
of it's tight too.
Yeah, so I mean, like when you have a downhill bike, you're kind of sacrificing that in length as well, because you don't have the maneuverability when you get that long. When you get to downhill spec bikes, I would
And
imagine.
That's what a lot of the downhill racers are kind of like upset about, with how the UCI's kind of, or who took Discovery took over downhill instead of Red Bull this year.
Oh, okay.
And so, like, all the tracks that they're racing now are like, so, like, it just looks better on TV to like
right.
for people who are just spectators, and like
I kind of
maybe-
think about Hardline.
Yeah.
Like Hardline is
Yeah.
like really cool for the spectacle of downhill.
yeah, and
Yeah.
so like now all the courses are just super high. Like people just like if you don't know anything about mountain biking, like the faster the higher the speed, the more gnarly it's gonna look.
Right.
And you might not like be able to see how technical a tight corner with a rock garden after it into another tight corner it looks.
Yeah. I mean, I think
So-
technical stuff never really does look good on camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember we filmed the Dirt Church 2019 thing when they released it.
Yeah.
Were you there? Were you guys there?
I was there. That was my first enduro race.
Okay, gotcha.
Race, yeah.
I think I remember seeing it. I think I got some clips of you.
Yeah.
And I remember we would like film in a spot that was like, oh wow, this is like a gnarly spot, and Jagged Axe, like they do really good work.
Yeah.
And like we would like film this like technical line, and I would go back in editing, and I'd go and like be putting stuff together, and I was like, that looks kind of not a good shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, now it's like with all the downhill courses, they're all super wide open and bike park style and like really fast. And that just is like, I mean, like Amory Piron and like pro DH racers have been getting like really hurt on tracks and like messed up for the whole season, just kind of at like the people putting it on like their benefit to have, like they just want the money of like, more spectators.
Right.
For it to look cool, but now it's like putting like the riders at risk, kind of, because they're really, I mean, they want to win and they're pushing it on courses that are like, it's kind of like I feel that sometimes whenever I'm riding some of the races around here, that like on flow trails or just racing flow trails in general,
Right.
that a double will be made for a certain speed, and that speed is not trying to race it where you're sprinting in between every jump, and then you see people go OTB and get bucked, and it's like that's what I find. It's like at Windrock, it's like there's no really like features that, I mean, there are features, but it's like all just like kind of raked down the hill, and so you can hit it at whatever speed because there's nothing like that you have to hit it at this speed or you're going too fast or too slow
per design, because
Exactly.
where our stuff, like you were saying, it's like when you're designed at a certain trail speed, like that's always the advice you're giving somebody is like, hey dude, just make trail speed and you're gonna make everything. But if it's like a downhill course where it's like, well, it's designed for as fast as possible, so I mean there isn't like a designed speed, so to say. But I think Windrock's going to be cool because we'll get to see some of that, like having Gwen like own a place, put his spin on it.
And he
That's gonna be
obviously
cool.
just wants to develop, the youth. And
Sure.
That's kind of like, I mean, Sean Leader, who was running it before, he's obviously not as big of a face because he hasn't been like a pro, like one of the best World Cup racers.
It wasn't
ever.
pro recognition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he did a great job putting it on, but then I think he was kind of ready to kind of pass it on and settle down. And Gwen is now like basically out of racing and
Into like a development
yeah, and
phase,
like he wants to
say.
see the U.S. because he really put the U.S. on the map for like downhill racing, and he was like one of the first U.S. like at that time period. Whenever he came up, he was just like one of the first U.S. racers to or one of the only U.S. racers to be out there like killing it that hard.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, I was just listening to a podcast with him, and his mindset, or not with him, but another pro, and they said his mindset with racing, he always like whenever he made a mistake, he was always thinking like, I know I'm fast enough to win. If I wouldn't have made that mistake, I could have won.
Yeah.
And a lot of people take that as like cocky, but I think that like was a key to his success for him. So it's like,
Sure.
I think he kind of wants to just help develop the youth and like kind of like help build them with like what he's taken, like his grain of salt from racing.
Right. So does that mean that y'all are going to try to go out there and race some of the stuff there?
I would want to, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to. I mean, I'm planning to go back out there for the Tennessee Nationals. That's like spring break, like March, February time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's also, and like it's never very great weather there either.
Oh yeah, I mean, I really feel like that's one benefit, though. I would imagine is, I guess, another question, like, is their terrain similar to ours, like in like the rock builds and stuff like that, or it's way different?
Okay, well, here you can go, Luke.
Yeah,
It's just like always a little bit wet and
Oh,
not
right.
dry.
right.
But what I've kind
Yeah.
of felt about it is like it's almost, I mean, like there's mountains in Arkansas that are like pretty close to the size of like Windrock.
Okay.
And I feel like it's more just the building style that they take, like
Yeah.
the approach
okay.
there, versus like, I mean, I feel like we saw at the Mount Nebo, like the stage 8 for the BME at Mount Nebo was just like this super raw cut Windrock style,
Pretty similar.
like
though.
just turning down the hill, and I was like, this is really like very similar to Windrock, and it's like all we have to do is kind of just build with the terrain instead of like trying to make the trail as long as you can down the hill instead of like just cutting down like Windrock does. And
So, we were talking about the race. So Scott actually is going to enter that race. That
Next
and it's
weekend.
yeah. Do you guys have you ever done the Bentonville Enduro?
Yeah.
you did it last year, right?
Yeah.
And I went to Angel Fire last year because it was a different weekend. And
Okay.
normally we go out there, like last year was the Team Trail Party race, which is the first weekend of October. And we just couldn't make it out there that weekend, so we ended up just going for a fun party lap weekend last weekend. And normally the Bentonville Enduro would be the first weekend of October.
Okay.
So I missed it last year, but I'd done it the two years before. And I mean, it's always fun, but it's like it's kind of like there's not a ton to work with. Like there's a ton of trails, but there's not a ton of like elevation to work with.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting. And what did they race last year?
I feel like they kind of missed out on some stuff last year. Like, didn't hit stuff like Technar. I don't think was on it or anything.
Was Handcut Hollow on it?
Yeah, it was. I remember that.
Right.
But that might have been the like Bike Fest Enduro. But
So
right.
is it not at just Kohler, or is it just kind of scattered all over?
I think
it goes pretty much all around. Like it'll hit Slaughterpin, Handcut, and Kohler.
Oh, okay.
I think they'll kind of like they try to spice it up, I think, every year. But I'm sure they'll have, I don't know, did they race Train last year?
Yeah, that was one of them.
That's like their token one that everyone heckles on the rock
Because
garden.
the bottom
and
is just
that bottom
people
rock
going
garden.
hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, that I'm sure that'll be on it, and then the rest is kind of unpredictable. Probably some of the, like maybe Interplanet Janus or some of those things over at over at Handcut.
And like Rock Solid. Rock
Solid might be on it. Rock Soft might be on it. It's
so
hard to tell, but
it spans that far. The Bentonville Enduro is like
I think it's six runs
all
a day,
over
right?
stuff.
yeah,
it's
Okay.
2 days.
because it's 2 days, so they'll kind of race.
You do
one
6
side,
one day
side.
and 6 the next, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never raced before, but one of our buddies just came off a broken foot, and he's back riding again, and he wanted to do it. And we just did the amateur e-bike one.
Yeah.
Because I had replacement knee surgery a year ago today, I think.
Oh, really?
Or a year ago yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm still
that was
kind
a
of
crazy
struggling.
time.
So
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'll do
Yeah.
it with you. We can both be gimps and go for it.
So are you going to be racing e-bike at that one?
Mm-hmm.
Then that's not a bad one to be on I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of the Arkansas Enduro series, like every time I'm like, man, I wish I was on an e-bike right
Really?
now.
Yeah.
Oh, is it because they're so distant? Like the trails are like the stages are so far apart, or like what would be the
Some
reason?
of that, but mainly like just the stages just have a lot like.
Per design.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just like a lot. It's a lot easier to carry speed through it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Fitzduro, you really had to.
The
You
Fitzduro
really had to
was
work for your speed.
pedal.
Really?
And-
The
Yeah.
pedally one?
Yeah, I don't want to throw any shade, but I kind of feel like.
Hey, this might be the show that does that.
Yeah, I feel like
I'm not sure.
I feel like AES was kind of like I feel like Slaughter Trail Guides and AES were kind of like forced to do like they wanted to
to
activate
do a certain thing.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
think they wanted to activate over like at Fitzgerald.
Okay.
They wanted to activate because they spent a lot of money to build that place.
Yeah.
and it doesn't really get used that much, so I think they kind of like had to race there. But I kind of feel like so they kind of were just like, okay, well we'll just race there and put it on, and everyone will complain about it, and then we won't have to race there again.
And then we'll move on.
Yeah,
but
that's
I mean,
kind of
like,
what I thought about it. But
so the people don't know this, but the studio is very close to Fitz. Like we're about 15 minutes away, and so like I'm there all the time.
yeah.
There's good stuff there.
There
but
is really good stuff.
It gets neglected so much that it turns into bad trails.
Yeah.
Like I actually, one of my I love talking about the best trail ever being the worst trail ever.
Yeah.
Because of it, just a state, the state of it.
Yeah.
But did the Fitzduro, did it go down?
Yeah.
In
It did.
through that?
It did.
Okay.
And those were probably
Okay.
like the best two stages.
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were.
I mean,
But did they clean it up?
yeah.
Something?
So not really.
Some stuff?
I mean,
Okay.
yeah. Dustin definitely did. He came
Okay.
through with a rake and cleaned it up. And
Okay.
like that one jump where you come up on the hill and then drop down.
Oh yeah, there was
The rock lip?
Like
there
that
was
one
some
was
moments.
rideable.
Were there some like OTB moments?
No.
No, okay.
But like,
Okay.
Yeah, some of the jumps you really had to work for on.
Okay,
And it was
yeah.
like, but with
it was
Fitz,
good though.
yeah, with
Okay.
Fitz, it's like for me, I always feel like it would be just a good. Like I wish there was a big crew of like people in Springdale or something that just wanted to go out there and like just build like just make it into like a cool little free ride jump spot, because like
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
I've always felt like was like my favorite part about it.
I think one of the issues there is there's some property boundary
Yeah.
issues, like where like if you're coming from like the parking area, you go over the road and then you kind of snake through there for a little bit before you get to Butterfield and Coyote
Yeah.
Cave and Cove Cave. I feel like that's like an easement that they're just like cruising through, and then you're at an opening where it's like trail availability. But there's that area where that building, that like dilapidated building is, you know what I'm talking about?
They have like some signs over there.
Dude, there are some lines over there.
Is that the one you guys?
If
you
y'all,
and Blake climbed
that
up?
yeah, me and Blake actually went up there to like check some things out, and there is some pretty sick free ride opportunities up there. So if y'all want to check something out, I got some ideas.
We should host another trail clean. We did one time, and it was just 3 of us showed up. And
It was
we were so gassed afterwards.
Was it me, you, and Blake?
Yeah,
Or, it was.
We were so out of gas that we didn't even ride it afterwards.
Yeah,
because we were there for like 4 hours. And we just did what's the Bridges in.
Bridges in. Yeah.
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 That's pretty good.
Bridges out. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bridges out, but
it's-
we all know.
Yeah.
Which I like that trail a lot, and actually I think that's if I go out there and I work on anything, it's that trail.
Yeah.
Because like I just want to make sure that those lips are doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Mhm.
And then Jagged Axe were the people that changed it from rock lip to dirt lip.
Dirt lip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For like that main jump.
Mhm.
And then I'm so glad that they left the hip alone. Like
Yeah.
that hip is like one of my favorite.
Yeah,
It
me
is really
too.
nice.
The spots.
That's my least favorite.
That's
jumps.
your least?
No. My least favorite jumps are rock lips.
Oh yeah,
Just-
absolutely.
I struggle
I-
with that.
I
can't-
definitely agree, and I don't blame anyone for building them because
No, it's a maintenance thing.
it's a maintenance
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But also, like you saw all those lips at Fitz, they like, I mean, like the one that was there, like just completely like caved in.
Oh yeah, back when it was
Like
the
that
the
big
moon booter,
gap,
the
yeah.
moon booter,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I remember like I was like ready to send that jump, and then I went to go to ride it,
Yeah, me
and
too.
it was like caved in,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, I know we're not riding this
Yep.
today.
Yeah, 'cause I really like that barn burner trail, but those rock lips.
Oh,
are just
yeah.
like-
Oh yeah, because it still has rock lips, right?
yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Well, I think
Even-
they
I
cleaned
kinda
it up.
wish
with
Did
it.
they
like-
clean it up?
They
I
did
don't-
clean it up.
I don't know. I
not too
haven't.
long ago.
I didn't ride it whenever we were there for the enduro. but
Okay.
I kind of wish they would coat some dirt, maybe just
Inside
over
of the
lips.
rocks.
Yeah, or like,
Yeah.
yeah, because
that would.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, our go-to spot is Centennial. Like,
Okay,
Because we,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Oh,
our
yeah.
high
They
school's
just
right
cleaned.
there.
They just cleaned all the
Gotcha.
downhills there, right? Like a couple weekends ago.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still kind of rough, but
Yeah. I read on somewhere. There's a
Ozark
Facebook
off-road
page.
cyclists.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
were clean.
Oh,
They
RC.
cleaned, they
Yeah,
cleaned
yeah.
all the downhills there, but
Oh right.
Yeah.
But you guys did the lip, right?
Yeah,
You could
the
clean
red
up the
rum lip.
The red
and
rum
then
lip. Yeah.
Surons came through or something and
What?
then, like, destroyed
Yeah.
it. And
No.
That's been a big problem in Fayetteville.
Really?
There's some cool people that just ride on the streets and stuff, but then
Okay.
there's some other kids that just like they purposely go out and mess them up because
What do y'all think about the Surons?
I think they're really fun. But
Yeah, to ride.
yeah. they are
I'm
a
sure they
blast.
are, yeah.
They
Yeah.
are a blast. But
Yeah.
I think there's a time and place for it.
Right.
And yeah, it's I don't want to say too much, but
yeah.
I don't want to burn any bridges.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
just it's the throttle, right? The throttle. That's
I mean, when they
Yeah.
throttle
Yeah.
into stuff.
and that's
yeah.
what it's like. Just like one of our friends is always like, well, I mean, and he's like ridden dirt bikes before, and he's like, well, they just don't need a throttle into the lips, and I'm like, people are gonna throttle.
People are
into
going to
the
throttle
lips
into the
often.
lips. I think so.
It's kind of the same thing with the one wheel thing. It's like I'd jump on one and give it a shot,
Yeah.
but those guys scrape the lips like Thunderdome.
Oh
and they
yeah.
scrape
Yeah.
the
During
heck out
the
of those.
what was
Yeah.
it the float fest?
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
what
thing
it
that
is.
they do.
But
Yeah, those.
We can
those-
throw a little shade here. That's okay.
Yeah.
We don't have too many one wheel.
the one wheel
watchers
scene
on
is
the
hilarious.
show.
But if
The
one was sitting there, I'd give it a shot.
the one
I mean,
wheel scene's
yeah.
hilarious.
I've ridden one before. I think that
haven't.
they're it's like it's an interesting sensation when you ride it,
Yeah.
but I can't break this, and I will stand by this comment forever. Mark my words. You just can't look stylish on it.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
like my biggest
There's not much
issue
you
with
can
it.
do.
Yeah,
it's
to like
just like you just jump it and that's it. You can't throw any spice on it or nothing.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe some of the. I haven't looked into it. So I
like
don't know.
that.
There
Have you
might be
seen
some
the
slick
Have you seen
dudes.
the shibby time, dude?
Shibby time. Yeah. He does the like the. I think that's a different
And that's
word.
a,
It's a different word. You can't call it one wheel because like they are offended by
Yeah,
it.
they
I
are-
think.
I think I know what you
I'm
mean,
not
yeah.
sure.
It's like a.
Yeah.
It's a e-unicycle.
Yeah.
Electric unicycle.
That's
type
it.
Thing.
Oh, where
Yeah, it
it's
is.
like between your legs.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And that dude's kind of he's pretty sick, but,
But
it's,
Yeah,
I
he-
did,
he
I
sends
did-
it.
I did read that the one wheels got
Oh, they got recalled.
Like,
Really?
Like all of
hundreds
them.
That's
thousands of
crazy.
them.
Not
Yeah.
maybe not all of them. I don't want to like.
Well, they went
be
through a
that
lawsuit.
guy,
They were-
but somebody federal.
Federal,
Some
and,
federal
and
something.
They tried to challenge it, but they had to recall them all.
Yeah.
yeah, the
That's
one
a
wheel
trip.
scene's really funny because they had him at the dirt church one year.
Oh,
And they
really?
like collabed mountain biking and one wheel
No way.
in like 2021 or 2022. It was either it was the dirt church, like the Passion Play
Was that the last one?
Southern Enduro Tour Dirt Church. Yeah, I think it
Was
might
that
have been
the
the
final?
last one. Yeah, But I think
That
they
was
did
the nail
they
in the
might have done
coffin.
it 2 times in a row, but it was like, it was like a It was like a EDM style scene, like
Interesting.
like a bunch of like people that are like dreaded up and like playing EDM in the parking lot with like giant vapes and stuff.
Yeah.
It was like,
You know what? Those are the kind of people, and again, if you are this person, I apologize, but you're just a stereotype, that has like a little boom box on their backpack when they're hitting the trails,
Oh,
and it's just like
I've seen
just
that.
a hair too loud.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're playing really bad music.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like boom, boom, drop the bass, doom, or something like that. It's like,
You're like, oh no.
Yeah, we definitely encountered a rave on trail a time or two.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So you guys got some sponsors?
I think we're getting a call in from Gabriel.
Oh, what?
what? Here we
Oh,
go.
dude, we gotta.
He's downstairs.
Is he downstairs?
It's not answering. Yeah, I think so. I think he might be.
Oh, dude, we got Gabe's in the house. Maybe.
I'll
Maybe.
call him back.
Or he's like, the other potential is that he's supremely lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, there's somebody pointing a gun at me.
Yo.
Drops that to Camp War Eagle.
Oh, yeah, you're close.
Yeah, you're close. It's just come. Like the pin I dropped sent you to where you're supposed to be.
In Camp War Eagle?
No.
No.
I think you made a wrong turn somewhere.
No, that's where I'm like at the end of the pin right now. Just send me your location.
Okay, I will.
Yeah.
That means Gabriel's here soon, and
He's here soon.
He probably has some stuff to say.
That's right. We're gonna grill him for
Alright.
the rest of the time of the podcast.
Anyways,
Yeah.
It's real funny, the scene.
Uh-huh.
'Cause they're like, the world is going electric, man. Yeah.
Kinda.
I mean, yeah. I think that, you know, at some point we're gonna start to see some sort of like blend of like e-bikes, e-dirt bike.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna turn into this just like, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
like the evolution of
That's
this.
what's been.
You know,
That's what's kind of weird. Yeah. Like, where's it going?
because it's like, you know, the dirt bikes were getting like progressively more like bikes. The e-bikes, the e-dirt bikes are getting more like the bikes, and then the mountain bikes are getting more like dirt bikes.
Yeah.
You know, so at one point they're
There's
gonna
just gonna be a bike that
blend.
satisfies both sides.
The-
or something.
exactly.
I mean, like Fayetteville just put a like this. I don't know if it's passed yet
Mhm.
or like official, but they did propose a law against Surons or any like sort of like electric motorcycle.
Oh, like on
that,
trails,
on
right?
greenways and trails.
Greenways
and
and
a lot of
trails,
people
yeah.
were upset about it because they have like those rad power e-bikes or something like that like, you know, like a commuter cruiser, and that's
Yeah.
like they're like, that's my transportation to go to work, like on the greenway every day. But I think it's one of those laws that's like not heavily enforced.
Right.
Like, it's like it's if they get a call in about someone who's, you know, being reckless or like mainly on the trails,
Sure.
like on the, you know, like off-road trails, then I think that they're gonna get calls in, and then you're gonna get in trouble. But I think like just people on like a, you know, a class 3 e-bike that goes
Going to work.
that
going to
goes like
school,
32
something.
on
Yeah.
the greenway or whatever, then
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna.
But that's the thing, though. It's like it's about the power, like the wattage, or
Yeah.
like what is it like that they're gauging? Can't remember.
So I think they do. So Surons, like, I mean, like people say they're a class 3 e-bike.
The
or a
class. That's
2,
what I was talking
but-
about. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Surons don't fit in that at all, because they are like electric dirt bikes like that, because they have a throttle. Like most of them don't have any pedals,
Mm-hmm.
and they can top out like from the factory at 55, and people. I mean, there's some that are literally modded to go 80,
Jeez.
and
If you can go highway speed, you shouldn't be on a mountain bike trail.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And-
or a greenway.
Or a greenway for that matter.
And, so that's like it's the class 2 e-bikes. I think that's, you can have a throttle,
Mhm.
but they top out at 22 maybe.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And then I think a class 3 is, it can be pedal assisted. It has to be pedal assisted maybe, but it can also have a throttle. But I think it has to have pedals, and it
Right.
tops out at like 32
Okay.
or something like that. And I mean, a Sauron's not even close to any of those, or like one of those Teleria.
Like you said, if
e-bikes.
if you can do 80 with mods, then
Yeah.
I mean,
and out of the
that's
factory, there's
outside of that.
it's like they go 50 or 45 or 55,
Right.
maybe tops, and then I think you cut, or I think it's 45, and then you just have to cut one little red wire or something, and it goes.
That's like the mod. That's the
55.
mod.
Yeah, it's
Gabriel.
no, but then you can get a
Yeah, dude.
72 volt battery and all that, and yeah.
He's here.
He's here. Gabriel Scott. Nice to meet you, man.
Dude. Pop those headphones on
Yeah.
there.
Here we go. He's
Get
getting
you all
it.
set up.
But yeah,
Let's see.
our go-to spot is Centennial. So that's like, or for me and Luke and Kaiser and some of the other Fayetteville boys, it's like Centennial mainly.
Oh, okay.
And that's probably one of the best spots in the Bentonville, Fayetteville, like Springdale
I
area.
haven't been to Red Rum since I got starched there.
Yeah.
I was visiting and I was
Dude.
Yeah, and I was like, I hit one jump and I was like, oh, that wasn't that bad. And then the next one's coming, I was just hauling into it and didn't make it across and knocked myself.
You know, I'm gonna take some blame on his bail. I totally like sent him down the trail. Like he was like, I was like, just follow me, and I was like, it is like, I don't know. You guys know those lips after a while, like
Yeah.
they're not
Yeah.
as friendly. You know, the
For
more
sure.
time
And it's like,
passes.
kind of how we've rebuilt them, and it's like we don't have enough dirt to move, and like the dirt there is like, you can have one day where it's really good and super tacky, and then like Gabriel's been out there and like on the lips you cannot work with it just because it's either too dry or too wet,
Mm-hmm.
and so
Mike, come over there and set you up. Great, Gabriel, on the mic.
so then there's only like 2 feet of this lip out of a 10-foot lip that you can hit, and so like there's like a whole section, and if you hit it you're getting bucked.
Right.
And so it's like you kind of have to know too, like where to
And
hit it.
I was visiting from San Diego, and the terrain's completely different.
Yeah.
The jumps aren't like there's no table jumps there. They're
No.
all just like booters with gaps and stuff. But Brandon's jersey name is it says double black, but it's more like a blue. We just can't fit it.
It's
It's just too much.
Double black, but it's more like a blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
his jersey.
That's what I try to tell everybody.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, dude. Just drop in. It'll be fine.
The worst part of that trail might be like if you're not like you can roll everything and
Yeah.
go around, but like that top rock garden where you drop in and it's like
Yeah, that was pretty gnarly. I
It's
didn't
pretty
do
rough.
that.
Yeah.
We were just sessioning in that spot around the berm,
Mhm.
and there's like a little kicker and some other stuff. And then we were ready to go to lunch, and then he's like, "Just follow me." And so I'm just jamming that little rock, like kind of kicker drop,
Oh yeah, so it's like
yeah.
it's the flat straight drop.
Yeah.
and then the tables start after
and
that.
then the table start
Yeah.
after that. But then it's so you guys did the last
one, yeah.
the one before that.
Yeah.
It's
that one you gotta like.
It's
that one
long.
go
Yeah.
for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one you have to go quick for, and like the rock garden, like you said, is like harder than doing the alternate line. Like the red
Oh
rum
yeah, you're
drop,
right. Yeah.
Like it's way harder, and like I don't know, have you done it, Finn?
No, I still haven't done
Yeah,
it.
me and Luke
Oh, the
did
gap.
it. Yeah, the gap.
Oh, you guys did the rock gap?
Yeah, the
Oh,
like
dope,
red rub
dope.
ledge. Like
Yeah.
before it got really, really washed out. Like this year.
Oh, okay.
Last year it was pretty nice, and like we both, or he hit it, and then like I never go to Fayetteville, and so I went down, and then he towed me, or didn't tow me in, but
Oh,
like we
yeah.
both did it together. And
I don't know if I'd want to tow on
Yeah,
that one.
it's-
It's like I don't want to follow anybody, and I also don't want anybody following me.
Yeah.
On that hit.
That one's just like, it's such a high consequence thing that it's not like a every run type beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just gotta
you're
like
not-
hit it if you're gonna.
It's a
be
one
in-
and done,
it-
or at least it was
totally.
for me. Like every
Like
time
you're
I
not
go,
doing like the trail
Right.
and that. You know,
Yeah,
you're just gonna hit that as a feature.
But
Yeah.
one of the things I don't like about Centennial is, and like a lot of the trails around, is how they'll put it in like either those like rock
Yeah,
drains,
just random like dips.
dips, or
It's
like,
all stuff just to like prevent having to do maintenance.
yeah. But a lot of it, I feel
You know.
like almost like causes more problems at points.
Yeah,
Instead
like
of-
when it like for instance drainage, like where it would hit to a drainage point and leaves would pile up, and then the leaves pile up, and then that flows over, and then creates
well, the other
more
thing
stuff.
is like it just traps all the dirt, so like you always have like
It
a
takes the
constant
dirt down
wet-
there.
And
Right.
that's
Yeah.
what- and that's what
It's
I
always
almost-
wet there. Like that's the point of it not, or that's like what drainage is
That's
supposed
an
to do.
interesting
But then
thought.
it all brings
Yeah.
it down after a while, and like you still have to maintenance it, but we end up doing it.
Yeah,
Right,
and that's
right.
what I almost wonder is like, I mean, because we have sections of, you know, like trail at Centennial, and we'll be climbing up it, and we're looking, and it's like they built a little rock where you're supposed to go here, and it's just like a little rock drainage dip, and everyone goes around it because they don't want to hit it because it's so harsh at like the actual speed that you're supposed to be going. Like maybe if you're not climbing the trail, if you're climbing it, it's fine, but so like everyone will just go around it, and I'm like, well, they didn't even need this here because we're gonna go around it anyways. Like,
so not only was it wasted effort on their part, but it's actually making the trail worse, like you were saying.
Worse, and probably making drainage worse because it's like I mean, you kind of at a certain point just have to let the mountain do its thing, and
right?
Just kind of like let it drain how it's gonna drain.
Well, I think we were talking earlier about, you know, when you build a trail, like sometimes you can either take the CAD approach, or you can take like the like I guess natural approach.
Mm-hmm.
We hearing something?
Yeah, there's a bird over there.
Oh yeah. So I'll go to the wide shot. So over there's like a bird has made a nest, and I need to get a ladder to get him out.
He's doing stuff in there.
Poor guy.
He's hanging out.
Yeah.
Well, we got a bird joining the podcast.
so Centennial is like a Parks and Rec.
Fayetteville, I think,
City of
is
Fayetteville.
in maybe in charge of the maintenance.
Yeah.
But ORC comes out.
Yeah, ORC comes out, and I mean,
they don't allot any funds to maintenance that thing. It's just gonna sit there unless somebody volunteers.
Not really. I mean, they hired Chris Crone, and he used to work for PTD, but now he has his own little, like, he just kind of does contracting just by himself, and
right?
just does
just maintenance,
little jobs. Works for the Trailblazers some.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But he was actually working out there and was gonna rebuild some of the gravity lines,
Mm-hmm.
and he just got to like a few of the trails that weren't like just like the stuff that's ridden all the time at night practice and stuff, like the Traverse and Junk Drawer, which are fun trails. But he like had another job in like, you know, he wasn't funded to like to work on the gravity trails,
right?
So then he kind of just went up to Bentonville and did whatever other job.
Yeah, so I think that's an interesting thought now that I'm thinking about it, is that you know, OORC and like they're so dope for the things that they do. Yeah, you know, like they're literally out there as much as they possibly can be, but a lot of their focus is on single track and like enduro style or cross country style of trails around here, and there's not really like, I wouldn't say, not that we need to tell them to hey guys, take care of gravity, you know, but it's like there isn't people that, I say people, you know, y'all are doing your fair share of maintenance and stuff, but it's like the equal to OORC for gravity trails. You know what I mean? Like,
there's just really not that much of a push for it either.
But we all ride it though, you know. It's like it's tough, you know.
Yeah, but like the amount of XC riders versus like the amount of people who want to ride stuff like that is way over like balanced on their side.
That's interesting.
A lot of the people who like, there's just a lot of kids that I've known like since I started riding who like don't have as much of a voice and like don't like, and they're just not as invested into it, and they're really good riders. Sure. But they just don't have any sort of like attached, like there's nothing to keep them there after they are good enough to get like to hit every trail around, and we just have love for it and like kind of like improvise and find stuff to do and build new things. But there's lots of kids that just get out of it, and it's like instead of them being another voice to kind of push forward, they just kind of get out of it and get into whatever else. And that's also part of being a teenager, but there's a lot of riders that just get out of it just because they feel like there's nothing else here for me. And I mean, we've all struggled with like learning new tricks and stuff. It's like, for me, like there's a certain point where it's kind of like scary to like, if the jumps aren't built for you to do a trick, you know, like threes, flips, and you know, big. I mean, you can throw a little T-bog or whatever, but there's a certain point where it's like like it's getting dangerous, and I'm gonna break myself off almost every run trying to do this just because it's not built for this.
Yeah, right. I'm actually going to I'm gonna go ahead and play the video. What was the name of the last video you guys had on YouTube? Do you remember the name of it?
Was that the
kickoff, or
was that the kickoff one?
It was kickoff. I think it was. That was because it was the one that you were hitting the lip, or like we're working on that lip, or you had just done the lip,
Yeah.
And you guys were filming after that.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Red Rum
Oh,
one,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, the red rum.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to pull that one up.
Yeah, we got TJ in
Little,
this
little
one.
tough for you, dude.
Yeah, that's good.
You've seen it.
He's seen it. Yeah.
You've seen it a couple times.
Yeah.
So who does the editing for all this stuff?
I did all of this one,
Okay.
and Gabe has done a few of the other ones.
Yeah, we kind of just pass it back and forth depending on like whose camera or who's filming the majority of it.
Right.
There's actually another one in the works right now. for
That y'all are filming for?
Yeah.
They have one and we have one.
Oh,
might be.
gotcha. The
So,
crew, the
yeah.
two different crews.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be. It's pretty far forward. I think. Like
Oh, okay.
5
Yeah.
minutes in.
We can actually. I'll try to pull it forward and see if we can find. I think it's around like.
No,
No,
it's back
Like, yeah, it's by the beginning. I think.
Okay.
like 5 minutes in, probably. I'd say.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
right
yeah,
there.
there.
I see lip. There we go. Maybe I'll take
is
it
that
to
too
full
forward?
screen for.
Oh, that's still on. What?
Oh, it's still back here.
Uh,
Yeah. Stupid YouTube. Now it's jumped to the front.
There we go.
Let it do its thing. This is right around. This is the start. Yeah. So, one of the things that I was going to talk about with this is that you were talking about, and this was the segue that I thought would be great, is that you were talking about lips that send you up for tricks,
Yeah.
you know, versus other lips that are just going to get you to the other side.
Yeah.
And I think that was the thing that I thought was important about probably what everybody else wasn't looking at, is that you put a hard edge on that lip
yeah.
and stacked it. Just you guys stacked that, right?
Yeah, we did.
Okay. So I think that's one of the things that we would be missing from trails, or I say trails that you could do tricks on.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a weird gray area for that, because there are people who want to ride trails and just like send it from front to back,
Yeah.
you know, top to bottom, and just get there.
Yeah.
But then you have, you know, like y'all, where you're trying to like throw some steez on it.
Yeah.
How do you do that if the jump isn't sending you up versus out?
And it also
you know?
gets so, and it's like, whenever you go up, you kind of have that, like, everything slows down whenever you're up there.
True.
And you're going up, and then you kind of like, at that apex of your jump, you're kind of at like 0 miles per hour. You're
Yes.
not moving forward at all.
Right.
And so then to bail, you're kind of just dropping straight
Mhm.
down. Versus if you're going, you know, some of the jumps, we might be going like 25 miles per hour into something, or, you know, 20 miles per hour into like some big jumps, in like especially at bike parks.
Right.
And if you crash on that, you're just getting messed up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you don't have that weightless feeling in the air. You're just going forward, not up. And the more up you go, it's just like a lot easier to do tricks.
Right.
There's like just more timing too. Like you said, everything slows down, and like I feel like Bentonville tries to make all their lines like a bike park, just smaller, and like
Mhm.
they have that feeling to an extent. But then like bike parks have a way of like incorporating like booters that like will slow the trail down, and like they'll have like the only bike park I've ever ridden is Trestle, but like
Sure.
they have jumps where you'll cut back up slope a little bit and
Right.
you'll slow down, and like they'll have like a jump that's like big and like soft kind of thing.
But the other thing is with Bentonville, it's kind of like, I don't know, they're not working with that much, like terrain wise and dirt wise too.
Mm-hmm.
Versus like,
they're not maximizing it. They
Yeah.
have it. They don't like they have it to an extent. Like
To an
we
extent,
do not
yeah.
have
Yeah.
like mountains.
But also, it's like
Right.
instead of just trying to build as many berms and as many jumps as possible
Mhm.
on one hillside, they could just put maybe 1 or 2 good jumps in one good berm. And-
Right. Instead of trying to like pack it in there
Exactly.
with like you're just trying to pack features
Yeah.
inside of a small case or whatever. But you know, I would also say that like, you know, I know a lot of the MO for Bentonville trails is tourism.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so I mean, there's always that focus on, can like the average dude or dudette come in and hit it.
That
and hit
variable's
it.
always going to keep them from getting too gnarly with stuff. 'Cause
And
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
but that's what we find. So many of those builders at the Trailblazers are super cool people.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
And I think they wanna build, so like they'll be designing something and they'll be like, well, we want to make this fun for them,
Sure.
and for the families to hit or whatever.
Yeah.
But then they start to get into like with those 3-pack jumps at off of like Seed Tick Shuffle, like off of the Green Lake.
Rockman.
Yeah, where the Rockman is.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Like those, whenever they first built them, they tried to make them basically what would be a gap dirt jump, but with a tabletop in the middle. So then people would be like, I mean, it's just a table, and they come in and the lips like this, and they come in and roll it, and then it's like this.
Yeah.
And it's like you cannot roll that. Like it's
So
just
you're hurting
impossible
yourself
to roll.
and hurting the
I
trail.
totally know.
So-
I totally know what you're talking
I
about.
kind of feel
right.
like there needs to be like there's a certain point where you can kind of like bridge the gap in between like making this one jump good for everyone, but I feel like there's a certain point where it's like there's a lot of trails that are good for everyone, and then there just needs to be something that's like a higher level, and then like a higher level, instead of trying to make that all in one jump, because it just gets really dangerous. I think trying to like they basically build a gap jump, but then they make it look like a table, but it's really not a table because it's not designed to be a table.
Yeah.
And it's
That's
not
what
designed to
makes
be
a lot of the
rolled.
problems too. Like if there's like a squirrel catcher at the beginning of a line, like people are going to be
Sure.
much less likely to hit it.
Sure.
And then they can build stuff farther down that's even like harder. As long as the first thing looks intimidating, there's going to be a lot less. But if they try to make it look easy and nice, and it's actually not, then it's going to end up making more people break.
Get
Kinda
hurt
like-
more. Yeah,
And,
you're
and
right.
I don't
You're
think
right.
that was the leading factor. I mean, it was one of the factors that they destroyed the apple whatever.
Oh,
Apple dumpling.
Apple dumpling.
But
That's
it was
right.
like
That's
you
right.
could drop into that.
Yep.
You know, my mom or whoever could drop into that, and there was like nothing. I don't think there was anything at the top. Like it just looked like a little trail.
But
And
then when you got down to like the main jump, you know,
yeah, it was like a good sized table.
it
And-
where the, you
It
know,
was.
yeah.
Everything was kind of like
And-
undoable, and all of a sudden there was something bigger.
And
Yeah.
gravity worked with it too, so it was like
That's
if you
true.
just didn't hit your brakes, you'd be coming in fast enough to hit the jump. And then
because you and I checked it out, the OG one
Mhm.
before they redid
which I thought was
I thought
great.
it was fun.
I was like,
did
I was like, finally, there's like something in town that is
Well,
like
that was, like,
sendable.
It had my
you know.
crossover jumps because I was doing smaller jumps then, and then but then going to Huntley's and stuff, I was kind of scared of those bigger
Sure.
ones. So it was like my crossover, like trying to get to there,
Yeah.
and then they just took it out. Right
And
away.
and I think that's one thing that sucks too, is that when you have trails like that offer a bigger send,
yeah,
it helps people get there for like a first time. Like they're like, I don't really normally hit big stuff, but like that if you have like a progression line, then it's going to allow you to progress, But the more that they take it away, the harder it's going to be. Which is why I had a conversation with somebody not too long ago that I think the overarching point was, if we're going to have stuff like that, it's going to be on private land.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, Huntley's a great spot, but
Mm-hmm.
like the dirt is just a limiting factor for that area.
Mhm.
And same with Eureka kinda too.
Sure.
And like none
Like
of
the
those
type of rock?
Yeah, like all those, like it's just like gravel basically.
Mhm.
And that dirt isn't good enough to build lips really without like a good lip that's going to be sturdy and safe. So then they build them out of rock.
Yeah,
And then-
dude, that's so like one of my favorite lines is Rapture.
Yeah.
And like it's like, okay, we got a high speed line and decent sized jumps to send. But if you give those rocks any time to fall away, the lips fall away too.
Yeah.
The landings fall away, and it ends up just kind of flattening.
And
Yeah,
so
it's
you know,
like you're riding on marbles
Yeah.
sometimes.
And-
Yeah, and the
Yeah,
berms
Sliding
too.
over
And
the-
that's
Yeah.
what I've
Slick.
and like I feel like it's you have to kind of take a different approach, and Jagged Axe has done a good job with like Prussian blue and things
Absolutely,
like that.
dude.
But
Absolutely.
yeah, I feel like if you wanted to make a fun jump, like a fun line that's kind of like more flow trail style out there,
Mhm.
it honestly like wouldn't have to be. I feel like it would have to be like maybe like what would be fun would be some like curved rollers or something. Where 'cause
Sure.
what I've always liked about Passion Play versus Leatherwood
Yeah.
is that Passion Play they kind of were like, okay, this dirt's really gravelly, and it's gonna be hard to build big features.
So
with,
we make
we're gonna
stuff
make it kind of
out
rock
like
cut.
that.
And so then it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you slide around on all the berms, and
Mhm.
there's not big berms there, and it kind of like, the trail kind of like builds itself how it wants to as people hit it too. Like
Yeah.
the berms start to get bigger and bigger with rocks. And
Sure. There
So
there is one thing I do want to add in. I remember I was talking with Alex when he was building that trail, and he this is definitely a private conversation, so sorry, Alex. But we were talking about like what people want, you know, and he was like, everybody says they want a big, like a high speed long jump line, like a big jump line. I'm gonna put this out here, but watch how many people actually come out here
to ride it,
to ride this.
It's
And riding it also means cleaning it, maintaining it. Yeah.
And that's my thing, is it's like I would love to go out there and maintain, but it's like it's an hour away. And
it's a far drive for us, for all of us in Northwest Arkansas.
It's sick, but
it's a great
also
spot.
like I'd have to rebuild it every time I go out there. Every time I go out there. Every time I go out there.
I think with the scene getting bigger in Eureka as well.
Yeah.
There's a new bike park they're working on too. I want to say it's like Oak Ridge something. I'll look it up. But they really are like somebody is doing something private out there.
I think I heard about that actually. Yeah.
So we can find that.
But yeah, that's what Huntley. One of the problems with that line is that it like at first it was really sick whenever they built it, and it was like big jumps and whatever, and then I think the Trailblazers made it maybe a little smaller, but it was good too because as the trail deteriorated, like there wasn't speed there anymore because the rocks slowed you down so much, and it's like you can't clear any of these. And now it's just gotten to the same point where it's like, even though they made the jumps a little smaller or whatever they did to them, you still like you have to pedal hard to get through them. And whenever you're pedaling hard and moving your bike side to side, it's like slippery now because all the like loose rocks, and it's just like I don't really know what the answer is there. But it's like I'll go out to Huntley and I'll be like, I'll remember like there's that berm line there, and that used to be able to cook through those berms and fly.
Yep.
And now it's like you can't even get down the trail fast at all because it's so slow and loose.
Yeah, it is super sludgy.
Yeah.
Last time my girlfriend likes that one, and even Shock and Oz gets really slippery, man, with rocks.
Yeah, we were out at Air Raid I think it was weekend before last, and I dropped in, stopped mid trail.
Yeah.
I was just like, whoa, like this is so bad, and I just started kicking rocks because I didn't have a rake on me, but I was like, I got to do something.
Yeah.
And then you get to the end and you barely have enough speed to even like clear the last jumps just because of the state of the trail. Now I'm not saying that I'm like not dogging anybody for like trail maintenance people because it's appreciated
either,
but
because
yeah,
it's like it's hard to maintain those lines. Like same with Rapture and same with all those lines.
Red Rum.
Yeah, and Red Rum. But like the only thing about Centennial and Red Rum is the dirt just holds a lot better, and it just like it just gets harder over time. Versus that just gets looser and looser. And
Red Rum
Centennial
cooks, like it will literally bake into a rock.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
And if like we go out there, rebuild it, and then. But the one problem with it was like in the summer it's almost like unrideable just because it gets, unless it was like redone before the summer and then like already baked in like super solid, but then it cracks really bad.
I remember the cracking.
So then it cracks and then people come through and hit it, especially like the Surons and stuff.
And that just rips it up.
Just rips it up. Yeah. And then it's like it's almost like there's a season where you cannot ride that ride that jump.
Jump at all.
But
yeah.
Centennial I think it just has better dirt, like for. But that's the thing that I like about Eureka is it's kind of like it has worse dirt in definition, but also it makes it fun because it's like you're sliding around and it just is a different feel on your bike, like like what you're riding on is just different, and so that's what I feel like. It's like good dirt is kind of relative. It's more like good building with the dirt that's there, because I feel like
building with the dirt that is there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like it's all kind of relative with what the dirt's like, because they
gotcha.
You kind of have to improvise though, and just kind of think about like what's this dirt going to be like in 2 years, and how's it going to ride then.
Right. Yeah. Does anybody have any like favorite trail builders or person that's doing y'all think are doing it right? Each one of y'all.
Jagged Axe is really good.
Okay. Jagged Axe.
And I
all the way around.
And I love the Trailblazers. I love the Trailblazers.
Okay.
But
they just have to work under more parameters.
Yeah,
the Trailblazers.
And you know they're just trying to make a job. Like they're not. It's not like they have like say like we can go. I mean, they're funded by people who tell them you have to build this, you have to build this. They can't just like go out there and be like, we're just gonna build
They're
this
inside of
super
parameters.
sick, huge jump line in Bentonville. So it's like
Yeah.
they're all good builders, and it's just
Sure.
like they just don't really get the opportunity to like explore their creative freedom.
Sure.
And the other thing too is like I know people who are builders, and like it's like, oh, then why don't you just get some property and build some land on your free time? But it's like kind of like that's their job. They don't want to.
Well, also, who's paying the bills?
Exactly. And they
at
don't
that,
wanna,
at that
and,
point.
And it's like I always talk to like Chris Crone.
Yeah.
'cause
I've met Chris. He's a good
yeah,
dude.
and I know his son Beckham really well, and we,
Okay.
like that's kind of who I rode with a ton.
Oh,
But
that's clicking. Sorry.
yeah, whenever I first started riding, that's who I like rode with a ton. And Beckham
Okay.
doesn't really ride anymore, but
Okay.
yeah, and he was like, I mean, I have all the stuff that you guys can build with, but I just don't want to do it because it's my job. So it's like it's kind of not really like it's not fun. I want to go ride on the weekend.
Right,
I don't
right.
want to build
Go
stuff.
build.
Right.
And for me, it's like, ooh, I want to go build because it's kind of like fun, and I finally have free time. But then it's
Right.
like whenever it's your job, it's kind of like,
That's true. That goes into a good point. I had a question for y'all. Like, since y'all are young, y'all are definitely like. How old was everybody here?
17.
I just
17.
turned 16.
I'm almost 16.
Almost 16. Cool. So, Scott's really old.
I'm really old,
And-
53. What's the age limit to be called a grom? I don't really know. I know.
do
it's kind
you
of a
guys feel?
skateboard
Do you
thing.
guys feel like you are
Our grom?
are
still
outside of the
Groms.
Groms? Or are you in the
18.
Groms?
18.
18.
Yeah.
Okay.
People
You,
still
you
get
get to
called
lose
Groms.
the title. You
Yeah.
lose the title.
You lose-
People
Yeah.
in friend groups who are like there will be riding groups that I see
Yeah.
on Instagram, and it'll be like you know, some people that are like 30, and it'll be like a 25-year-old, and they're like, he's
a Grom.
He's the young guy in the group.
No, I think you guys should rightfully lose that title at that age.
Yeah.
But I mean, if
I
you're
was
in-
a Grom, so I
Wait.
just don't want to let you know. I've
But
been
if
in
you're
that
like,
category.
if you're like 60
so.
or 70 and you're riding out with some dudes that are 30, then maybe you could be like, I'm riding with the Groms today.
But yeah, as a joke, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, like, there's certain, like, we ride with this kid, Caden, and he's, like, a little bit younger than us, so we
Okay.
call
He's probably
him.
13.
You call him your
Yeah,
Grom.
we call him the Grom.
He's the
so,
Grom
like,
to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's relative. Like
There
if
you
you're-
go.
Maybe like the gap goes up because if you're like,
Dude, we just broke the code. Finally,
yeah,
we figured it out.
Because whenever we're like our age, like the difference between a year and 2 years or whatever
Sure.
seems so big.
Oh,
But, like,
right,
whenever
right.
y'all get
we
older,
see you
it's
guys
like-
almost as the same age. Like you
Exactly.
said,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
1 age apart.
Yeah, but like 5 years for
Yeah.
you guys probably isn't that big of a difference. But then like
Yeah.
whenever you get, so maybe it's like the gap gets bigger as you're older. So
Look,
it's like,
I'll tell you, man. Time is relative. So-
Time is, and it's really hard to determine. You know, when you're in your 20s, you can tell if somebody's a teenager or 21.
Uh-huh,
And then once
totally.
you start getting into your 40s, you're like, oh, I can't tell who's 20 and who's 30.
yeah.
Right.
Now it's like I can't tell who's 30 and 18.
We're not
anymore.
even
But
sure
yeah,
how old
yeah.
anybody is.
I mean, you could tell me you were 28, and I'd probably believe you.
Yeah,
Right.
that's right. There's
No
always
anymore.
people like I'm trying to think who it was. Might have been Hardy. Yeah, it was Hardy who works.
Yeah.
He has a little company and he builds like he was building in Durango.
Oh,
With PTD, he was
yeah.
building in Durango.
MP,
yeah, MP. And,
MP, yeah.
And
That's right.
he actually first started working with PTD and then
Oh,
he
gotcha.
kind of branched off and did his own thing.
Right.
But my dad saw him at the grocery store in Durango, and whenever we were there just out riding,
That's great.
and he was like, "Is Finn looking for a job now? He can come work with us in Durango for the next 6 months, and then we're going to Maine to do a job." And it's like he's like he's not out of high school yet.
He
he's,
still has
he's
some
about to go into his
classes to
sophomore
go
year.
to.
So what do you call the old guys?
Yeah, what are the old
They're
guys?
trying to stay relevant and
Old heads, maybe.
Old heads.
Yeah.
There you go. That's not too bad, Scott,
That's
right?
fine. I'm cool with that.
Okay, good.
We are old heads.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, actually, so I wanted to know is like since y'all are young, but you're riding mountain bikes, do you guys want to work in the bike industry or do you not want to work in the bike industry? And if so, what do you want to do?
You answer first.
I definitely would want to work in the bike industry.
Doing
for
what?
Me. I've been really into
Let's
like
get this mic closer.
There you go.
suspension designs and
Okay.
like just
Yeah.
geometry.
His
But
dad's an engineer, so
yeah.
You got the engineer
he has
genes.
an engineer brain. He has an
Yeah.
engineer
There we
brain. Like,
go.
everything's very like linear and like
That's not a problem, dude.
They
I'm
hit him back.
I'm a geometric dude myself.
And
I
he
like
works
to
on his
see
bike
lines.
Yeah,
My
like,
son's an engineer, so yeah, I kind of understand that.
yeah, and he's like maintains his bike really well. Stays
Right.
at like super like knows all the bike tech and
So yeah, maybe you could work with like a for a bike brand, working on their development for linkages
That's what I was
or stuff like
thinking.
that.
yeah, and we've also talked about like have you seen Frameworks, which Nico Malawi?
Yeah. Oh yeah, his
I'm
brand.
like,
Yeah.
that would be a cool thing if
Yeah.
you know,
That'd
if
be
you can
sick,
ride
dude.
out racing as long as you can and then
Mhm.
build up sponsors through there, and then be able to like kind of take your knowledge
Mhm.
and then maybe have some of those non-frame sponsors support you in your own little like bike building journey or
Right,
whatever.
right.
That's what like Mike Jesus or Jeezy's, I don't know how to say his last name. He rides for GT and he designs their frames for him, and then he'll
Okay.
just like, I don't know. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And like he went from Evil to GT, and it's just because like he always designs.
the Steezy Geese dude or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Steezy Geese. Yeah, that's right. That's it.
Yeah, he's a like I think he's an engineer or something. He's
Oh,
something. He's
right.
a like designer. Or
Yeah. Yeah.
something. And yeah, so he kind of like,
Sick.
I mean, he's not really a pro mountain biker, and I don't think he
Mhm.
ever was. But he also, like, I kind of like view like whenever I first got into biking, I just viewed him as a pro because it's like, I was like he gets free bikes and he is famous on Instagram.
It's not a bad thing to do.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
he's kind of living out like an alternate.
Alternative like route to working in the bike industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would kind of
Yeah,
be the
exactly.
dream.
Yeah, because I think you could probably be an independent contractor in biking to some measure.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly.
And I've looked at, I mean, I'm into a lot of different, like I've looked at, whenever I first started riding, I really wanted to be an engineer. And then
Yeah.
as I kind of went through school, I was like, I'm not like super into math and stuff like that. And
I don't like math.
Yeah, you
So-
gotta do some serious math.
yeah, and then I took an engineering course last year and it wasn't great and I just
Yeah.
didn't like it. So,
Well, so what sets you up? Where
so
where you
I'm
looking?
kind of like, I'm really into like videography and photography.
Okay.
And then I'm also like just really like I think being like I'm just an outgoing person and
Yeah.
like just like good with people, so I'd like to be like a athlete like development management and like marketing
Yeah.
management.
I could see you probably being able to do like your maybe like a ambassador, you're a liaison for the brand.
Yeah.
So like you're bringing in people, you're riding with people.
Yeah.
Like you could also like talk business, but then also shred the trails.
Yeah,
with
and,
them.
Yeah, like,
you know.
like a marketing or something like that. I've looked at that, and then, I mean, like building would also be something that I've looked at too,
Mhm.
and like even doing like little like there's people, like just pros that get hired and they just get paid to like by whoever, like the the Waltons or whoever
Mhm.
to come in and oversee a trail and help build
Special projects.
Yeah, really, you have like they'll
Mhm.
have the actual like the trailblazers building the thing,
Mhm.
but then they'll just be like, jump needs to be a little bit bigger or whatever.
So that's basically like consulting
Yeah.
in some form or fashion.
And so that's like if you have a name for yourself, you can kind of do that, and that's just another like
Right.
way to be out there. And
Right.
then also I've looked into like designing like product design, like specifically like clothes and helmets and stuff like that.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
because I'm kind of into like that and,
Fashion
like,
side
clothes
of
and fashion,
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gabe?
So yeah.
I'm just like more into videography. Like I've taken videography classes for the last 6 years, and so like that kind of interests me. Like just being a little bit different or bringing like a different style to either editing or filming. Either one, I'd
Right.
probably say I'm better at editing, but that's just because you do more hours behind the computer than you do the camera.
True.
And yeah, I just like to go into that. It'd be cool to be hired out to do film projects for either BMX or mountain bike, whatever.
Right. Something inside of cycling, but still to where you're able to like focus on like the brand's vision or like how the brand is seen
Yeah.
from a public perspective.
Yeah, unless you're me, I probably spend more time behind the camera, and then I just like have a ton of clips that I never use, and I'm like, I'll get to them one day and make an edit.
No, dude,
And then
that's funny.
And then by the
Yeah.
time I want to use them, I'm like, I
They're
look at them and I'm
old,
like,
they're
Yeah, and
"These are-
you
dude,
like
I
look
could
at
go
them
out
and you're
hit
like,
this
oh, I
like
don't want
5
to.
times
I want to
better."
put it out.
Yeah.
Or you can do those tricks better by the
Yeah,
time you
exactly.
By the time you
Right.
get there.
And it's like,
Right.
Yeah, I just have a lot of clips that are just sitting and that I haven't used. 'Cause
Right.
I'll be like, yeah, I'll get to them at some point. Put them like stack for an edit, and then I'm like, oh, these are stale. I don't like them anymore.
Sure. So do you guys actually like you film a lot? Like you
Yeah.
actually film. I think you guys film more than most of the people in Northwest Arkansas.
Oh yeah, for
You know,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys?
Amongst like all of us, we're always usually if like someone's not filming, then the other person always
Like
is.
one
Like,
Okay.
person has either like a camera they're taking like something besides an iPhone that they're taking pictures on. Taking
So you guys just
videos
kind of
with.
round table it, like
Yeah.
you know, like
we all have like to an extent we can like pass cameras to each other. Like
Mhm.
me and Brody, like as like me, Brody, and Connor, like as kind of the Bentonville crew, we all have our own like cameras, and we'll go out and shoot with like
Right.
some people who don't, or if it is just me and Brody, like we both have cameras and we can go out
Gotcha.
and film. And then like for the Fayetteville crew, I know Kaiser and do you have a camera, Luke?
No, I
But
don't.
like
know.
Kaiser and Finn both have cameras, and,
And
they just
I had a Canon, or I still have it, a camcorder, but then I was filming out in the rain, and I passed it to this kid who like doesn't film very much.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't really friends with him, and
Uh-oh.
I actually gave it to Kaiser and then my other friend Dane.
Okay.
And then the kid was like, I want to try filming with it.
Okay.
And then he got it super wet, and now it doesn't work.
Oh, jeez.
But I'm about to get a new camera.
Yeah, because like the I think it was the last edit, the kickoff. That was all. Was that all camcorder, or was
Yeah,
that like a
was
mix,
that was all
or
camcorder?
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
But Kaiser has a DSLR that
Okay.
he's been using, and then we all have a bunch of like whatever like old little
Mhm.
like tape camcorders or whatever. So
To just try to get some like different styles of
Yeah.
shots and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
we can always
both-
just like use lenses too. Like
Yeah.
we both have fisheyes, and we like use those.
yeah, we both have like it's like an Optica
Mhm.
like 58 mil thread, like I don't know, like
Yours is
For the camcorders.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
I mean, you can put them on whatever. Like he used to have
Yeah.
a VX, and he had it on there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had a VX that I put it on, and
What happened?
it was like the tape deck was really messed up.
Oh yeah, that sounds about
Like,
right.
I sent it back, and then they gave me my money back.
Oh, gotcha.
Because I
Well, you know,
I was so
there's
sick of it.
Well, there's people that will do
Tapeless.
VX maintenance.
Or maintenance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they'll take them and then fix whatever the stuff is.
Yeah, I was like looking into it, and I was thinking about like, because they were like, we could send you a new one, or we could just give you your money back.
Mhm.
And I was like, I'll get my money back, and then see if I want to like if I find a good deal on another VX
Yeah.
or whatever. And then I just ended up getting a Canon, like
Mhm.
just because I was so like I filled up a full tape, like 60 minutes of footage, like of me doing like threes on my big bikes, like lots of tricks that I was really proud of.
That video
Right.
of Kaiser's bar that like kind of like shocked a lot of people because it was just like kind of random because no one had seen him
On
throw
the-
bars
it's on
really
the COD
before.
Instagram.
Right.
That was like
That's
I was
Slaughterford.
filming that on the VX while they were filming the iPhoners, and
Yeah.
that's never gonna get seen.
Yeah, we
Right.
had tons of good, like all fisheye, like threes, like bars, tons of good stuff,
Oh,
and then
bummer.
it like all was glitched out, and I was like, well, none of this is usable, and then I was like, I'm just sick of this tape, and I just like,
Oh, bummer.
and I just
yeah.
like, I ended up just like the tape had the clips on it, and I was like, maybe I'll just keep it to repair one day,
Right.
and then I like just got mad to smash the tape.
I think that there's probably like a there's when you're dealing with hard tape stuff, you're always gonna like have that hardware issue.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to get that style of stuff, then that's what it
Yeah.
takes. Yeah.
Right
And
now,
I feel like a lot of people like don't know that and like maybe should like
Mhm.
if there's something filmed on like an old camera or a VX, like not only do the clips look sick, but like the editing process and just getting it off the like camera had to put in so much extra effort than like just using a modern camera. And like
Mhm.
I think that's what adds to a lot of skate videos that, like people old school will still shoot with old cameras and stuff. Like it adds an extra layer to the difficulty of not only the riding but the editing,
Right.
and that's why like it appeals to more people, I think.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and-
I mean, I think so too.
And I think a lot of people are sick of the super, like, overproduced, like
Cinema
super
type.
slow-mo cinema footage
Mhm.
to a certain point now, and it just, like, I don't know, like, and people put so much effort in for, like, one shot where it's, like, setting up framing, and people kind of, I think people just want to see, like, real, like
Like raw, like you literally could just like be there and see it type beat.
And you don't have to have,
true.
and you don't have to have like, you know, it doesn't have to be someone who's had years of experience in film classes. You could be like, yo, just hold this like terrible camcorder,
Mhm.
like from 1989 or 1998.
Yeah,
or
and
something.
just point it over there and kind of.
Except for when a kid doesn't realize that
Yeah.
that can't get wet.
Exactly. Yeah, it was raining at a dig day, and then it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Totally.
yeah, the dirt jump spot that's where it was at, the dirt jump spot up in
Oh,
Bentonville, and that
and-
spot that
hand
spot's
cut.
sick. Yeah.
Yep. And then well, I was also thinking about Zero Mountain,
Yeah.
which is kind
Oh,
of I kind of wish we were back at that a little
Yeah,
bit, but
that was my old
it was some good
spot.
times.
Like that was kind of one of our old spots that we used to go to all
Mhm.
the time, but it kind of was just like.
yeah.
It would just get washed away so fast. Like it's
Yeah.
discouraging.
And the dirt was really good, but it just like if there's not enough people to have hands out there, then it's just like.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
mean it is a drive for everyone. Now it would be easier because we both like have cars and like more of us can drive, but it's
Mhm.
still like it's still that extra step.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just turned
true.
16 this month now, so it's like that's what I've kind of been like at the beginning of the school year. I was like, I haven't been riding enough, whatever. But I was just doing NICA
Right.
and just like riding my XC bike. But I'm like, as soon as I get a car, I'm gonna start stacking clips hard and
Yeah.
going to like, you know, Andrew Markham.
Yeah.
Yeah, going to his spot.
Oh, the
and
green
places like that.
Greenwood.
Greenwood, yeah,
Greenwood,
down in
yeah.
Greenwood, yeah.
Those jumps are sick.
Yeah. So spots like that, and just going to build more spots, and yeah.
So that's the future, the next plans, anyways. Build more
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Build more
Yeah.
stuff.
It'd
ride
be
more
nice
stuff.
to go back to zero, like just have a proper set. And we were
True.
doing some more creative stuff at the time.
I
And
think
it's
it would
just
be good just to
discouraging.
go out and do a Gabe style build where he just.
What's a
like,
Gabe style build?
You can go out and throw up a lip or something, and maybe never get back to it or ride it, but like
Yeah.
just go
Just throwing
it's like
lips.
you just have a random day,
Putting
it's
lips
like,
wherever you
I'll
can.
just
Yeah.
throw
Right.
a lip and maybe hit something that might work or might not,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what zeros. That's a good spot for that
because it
has-
just gets washed away
yeah,
too.
and the
Mhm.
dirt
Like-
is so like disposable. Like it's just so soft and so easy to dig with. And you
Right.
could
It
just
was
come out.
some of the best dirt like around here that we got to work with.
Yeah.
But the reason it like disappears so fast is because it's by the river, and that's
Right.
why the dirt is so good.
Right, because it's that sediment
But
buildup.
yeah, it's
Right.
good if you
Mhm.
want to build like a tree ride or something like creative, and you could go out and just like
That was what we were doing last time.
yeah, and you could
Mhm.
go out and just like I want to do like a 50-to-1 style, come up, do a whatever like 180 crank flip on this tree
On a tree.
and then you can go out there, and it's so much easier to build with than like other rocky
Well,
favorite soil.
that kind of soil can stick to trees too, and you
Yeah.
can get that
Yeah,
lip,
no,
that lip
exactly.
up
Yeah.
to it.
And it's like like if you water it nice, that is so good.
And
Right.
there's water source right
yeah,
there.
it's like a
Mhm.
good spot all around, but then like the drawback is that like the river's right there and it always just gets
Right.
washed away,
So-
and it's really discouraging because like I only started doing like the like botch builds after like our spot kind of got torn down,
Mm-hmm.
and like because that
we
like
had that dirt jump spot in Bentonville.
because
Mhm.
me and Brody would go out in like 30-degree weather like after school every day for that entire like fall into early summer and just stacked on that landing.
Yeah.
And like I bought all this wood to build like a lip the weekend that it got taken down. And so like we took the dirt lip out that was there, which was really nice, that Colin built.
Right.
Him and Taylor, I think, went out there and built that.
Okay.
And it rode nice for a while, but obviously like, and that dirt was really good because like that spot used to be like a dump area, so they would have all that like dirt that is there is not from Arkansas.
Oh, interesting.
There was like the premature little piles, and then like Chris, I forget his last name.
He has a big ginger. He's a big
Yeah,
ginger
big-
dude with a big beard.
That
Yeah,
dude.
big red beard.
Yep,
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
He was telling me about like how that used to be like a barn there, and like all of the dirt was brought in.
Oh, wild.
And so like we had rut lines down this little hill beside it, and so we would find like pieces of the barn and like stuff that would have been in it, like cow bones and like
Oh, sick.
forks and like weird like stuff like that.
Mhm.
And then like up top where we were building like the jumps, like it was like you would just find random bricks and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And so we like found the brick that like said like Coffeeville on it, which there's only one Coffeeville and it's like in Missouri, so I don't know how it would
Yeah.
got here.
from like Missouri, but I guess it was from stuff getting dumped or like
Mhm.
Yeah,
transported.
and so like we just kind of like
Crazy.
tried to call a spot that and never really caught on because it didn't last that long. But that was like kind of just going off of like what 0 was for you. Like that was what the spot was for me.
Yeah.
Like every time there was like a setback, and then it just got bulldozed.
Yeah, and
so
with
that
more and more setbacks means you're just not gonna eventually not come
And
back.
they were
right,
and
like,
they did,
and it discouraged like both me and Brody for a while. Like after that, like it was like I haven't built consistently since then, and it's just because like one, there's not really that many good spots, and like we also have like harder school now. Like it's that time period was nice because it was like right after COVID,
Right.
everything was chill and easy. Like it's early school now. It's like senior year, or for Brody it's junior, and like we have a lot of work and like other stuff like that. But it's just like that spot with the dirt, like there's not really another one that we found to replace it. So
Yeah. Right.
there's nowhere to throw up like solid stuff that will last a while. So everything is either like rut lines that we will like just scratch into the hill and try to ride it,
Right.
or like just botch builds.
Yeah, and I'm pretty jealous of Brody's little schooling schedule that he has for Ignite in Bentonville. Isn't it Ignite that he's
No,
it's NWAC.
NWAC,
Yeah.
But it just gives them more time to.
Yeah,
He basically graduated high school 2 years early.
Oh,
and,
wow.
Like, yeah.
I mean, he only has to go in for like half days every day, but
Okay.
he has a girlfriend and other stuff that he likes to do, so he just like he still rides and builds a lot, but he
Okay.
just
A lot of it is training though. Like he
Yeah, he
doesn't
does
do a lot of
training, too.
like kind of free ride stuff anymore. It's mostly enduro training, and like a lot of people are doing that, especially during the season. And so like it's hard to find people to build and ride with at the same time.
And that's kind
Right.
of what I like moved towards this summer, or I was like, I can't really like. There's nothing here for me to like. You can build up like a good enduro skill set in your driveway, like doing sprint. If you really wanted it, you could go out and do sprints and like
Just out in front of your
cornering
house.
practices
Yeah.
and whatever, and go ride. You could go ride hiking trails, and that's how like you build a lot of enduro skills, because that's what a lot of enduro trails are like, and you
At
can
least
build
here.
those minor skills.
Right.
And so it's like it's kind of like, and tricks for me is like there's no indoor, there's not a ton of stuff for me to progress on, and it's just a lot more risk for me to like get, like if I can't go like, it's just hard to make your name as like a free rider around here.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, it's just like, and with no car, no way to get anywhere, and I could just go like ride up to like these hiking trail. I don't want to
Right.
name drop too much.
Don't tell too many.
It's-
Don't tell
yeah,
people
yeah.
where your goods
But,
are at.
Yeah.
Secret caught
We got
lines.
some spots that
That's
we go
right,
in
that's right.
Fayetteville
In the
that
words
have,
of Boyd.
yeah, good trails. And
That's funny. That's
So,
how
yeah.
that's how we'll know how to find him. Is like somebody says caught line, and we're like, what?
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah, yeah. I just remember Boyd saying that a couple times when we had some lines at
That's funny.
Centennial.
yeah, my dad's like, "Are you gonna go ride the cot lines today?" And actually,
That's
Tyler
funny.
Screehot, who goes to the U of A,
Okay.
he's from Texas, like Austin area, I think, and he rides like one of the orange, like all orange Firebirds pivots,
Yep.
like the orange fork, orange frame.
Yep. I have seen
And,
that.
Yeah, if you ever see it, he has like a silver 4Runner, but if you ever see him parked at Centennial, he's always out there, and he just built like a pretty sick downhill track at
Oh.
Centennial. And I wouldn't feel comfortable saying this
Say-
normally, but it's like it's kind of like there's no one. At first, like we started building stuff at Centennial,
Yeah.
but we thought we were gonna get in trouble, and then like there's no one who really like maintains it. Like there's not enough people to weed eat it.
There's nobody who's like managing it
Yeah,
anyways.
there's like not enough
so-
people to weed eat it, so there's like no one to get us in trouble. Really.
Right.
So it's like,
Right.
but I mean, it would suck if it all got torn down. But yeah, he built a pretty sick downhill track. I'm not gonna tell everyone where it's at, but if you can find it, it's pretty sick. And yeah, so there's
That's cool.
definitely more people who are coming and like getting into like enduro and building raw stuff.
Right.
And yeah,
All right.
That's kind of what San Diego's like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's all most of the good trails are unsanctioned, so
Yeah.
it's just a group of guys maintaining it, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And those are like the best lines. Is like when they would be able to come up to Bentonville more, like during the summer or last winter, or the winter before last, 2021, right?
yeah,
Yeah, that was when like the spot in Bentonville popped off, kind of, and we would just do like really quick rut builds, and those would be like the best ruts. Like once, like even before you rode them in, they were really fun, and like that was really exciting for us. And then like just redoing old ruts. Like I don't know if you guys ever like heard of or ridden like the stuff kind of behind Seatic or like Rockman. There's like some ruts down that hill by what's the trail that they cross that everyone gets mad about?
Is it Jesse's?
Jesse's last stand
Armadillo.
got the cut
Armadillo.
Yeah, Armadillo.
Armadillo. So like Jack Horton and like all those guys that barely or don't ride anymore, they built this like pretty gnarly rut line.
Yeah, we built that back in like 2020-ish.
Yeah, it was like 2019, 2020. They like
Moon Dust.
Yeah,
is what
Moon
it was
Dust,
called.
and
It was just,
I don't
like,
remember
super
the other
dusty.
side, whatever the other side was called.
Yeah.
But like it's fun to like go redo those. Like last year, I went and redid them, and like we would go out and film on them and like do all that. And it's just kind of either. I feel like a lot of people have just kind of strayed away from trying to build jumps and like solid stuff, and like we're just scratching stuff into the hill now.
Yeah.
Because like that's what we don't get in trouble for.
But
Yeah.
I'll try and find it. But like there's like some videos of like just like the 50-to-1 dudes out like hitting some super sick ruts that like they posted on Instagram the other day. And
Yeah.
I'm like, we need to go like just find.
Yeah.
I feel like the spot. To
Just
do it
some
would be,
like regular like rake and ride stuff.
And I feel
Yeah.
like it would be like just to build like a good section of ruts, like just out in an open field with like. But I need to find like kind of good pine needly style dirt that's like just like really soft. So I feel
around
like,
here, all the pines like grow over just like solid rock.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
or-
Especially in Bella Vista, there is nothing. Like
Yeah.
under pines is like the rockiest part of the back
rockiest
40.
stuff.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and start looking down like south of like Winslow, like just like 15 minutes.
I could see
outside of
I could see
Fayetteville.
something down there.
Winslow's dirt is really nice.
It's
like
so
I used to
nice.
live down there, and they actually have like loam, and like
That's
wow.
like where that's pretty close to like the NWA DH Revolution stuff. It's
It's
out in that area.
out there, yeah.
And so if I can find a spot where it won't get taken down, maybe just off the highway even, and just find a spot in the woods where we could just build some ruts and then some downhill tracks, and I'd love to find some stuff like that.
Right.
But I'll try and find a clip and show you. But like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's. I mean, rut tracks are really like that's really some stuff that we need.
That's
'Cause
funny.
that's like, I mean, that's like.
I
some of
mean,
my
they're
favorite
just like
stuff to ride.
you can ride them year round too, which is like another benefit. Like a lot of the time, like winter here, it's really rainy and cold, and like
And you want to stay off like the nice pack stuff.
that, and like
Anyways,
just
yeah.
like if you're even if it was like okay conditions and like you're not rutting anything up, like trying to learn something new or throw tricks when it's cold and your hands are cold is just like it's a no go.
That's a good
and,
point.
And it's like you can ride it year round, any time of the year, like just snow, you
Wet.
can ride it wet,
Yeah.
you know, super dry, and it's just like it's so like predictable,
Yeah.
also unpredictable, like depending on the conditions. This is different, but this is at this is
Oh yeah.
like I feel like at Mount Nebo,
oh
that
right.
would be a place that you could build something like that, and that's just like. That's
You're-
literally just
you're-
an open. That's just an open hillside.
And it kind of looked like a gully spot. Like
Yeah.
it was just like a big wash area, and you're just kind of cruising the wash.
Yeah.
You know.
I used to do that in Bella Vista. There's like all these random just like drainage problems everywhere, and like if you just ride down the ruts, they're like gnarly and fun, and like if they're wide enough, you can just hop from one side and like carry to speed
Oh,
in
and, like,
the
cut
other and
over?
have, like
Yeah.
little like choo-choo style,
like
slasher
choo-choo style.
bumps. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the problems with that is just the underbrush here, but I want to get out like during this. You can do it at Eureka because there's not a ton of it on spots like out at like Leatherwood, and like some of my friends from St. Louis. Like, there's these kids, Henry and Sam and
Yeah,
Justin.
Oh,
and they,
the sucks at bikes.
yeah,
Dudes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
I don't
they-
know. That's all I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
They suck at bikes.
They said their favorite thing to do is they go out to Leatherwood and they just bomb straight down the hill. And
Oh,
just get to
that's
the bottom of the hill.
hilarious.
And that's what I always
That's pretty
like doing
funny.
that, like anywhere I
That's
go.
funny.
If you can find a line,
Yeah.
just without underbrush.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I'd like to get out this winter, like Winslow area, maybe out towards like Nebo,
And
out
find some
towards
spots.
and just
Yeah, like
ride
under
and
power
dive.
lines is always good because
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
have to cut that like all the brush down after a
Yeah,
couple years.
and that's safe spot to do that too, because that is easement, and it's just the power company.
Yeah,
So like you're kind of not trespassing,
yeah,
and not. I mean, it's a gray area. I don't want to advocate for anybody to do anything. Disclaimer.
Yeah.
But they're an easement through
Yeah.
a land. So and a lot of times, sometimes the power companies are just like, yeah, we're not.
Yeah, we don't care. Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Yeah.
So, yeah, that's something that I'd like to do this winter is find spots that we could just build like cuddies down a hill and just basically just ride it in.
Right.
And then hopefully keep riding it into the summer and spring and then it'll just stay there and all the underbrush won't grow because we've ridden it in.
Yeah, because of the ride in.
So that's kind of something that I'm searching for this winter is like just raw cut lines.
Right.
And then whenever there's no underbrush and kind of maybe just like go to a spot like, I mean, Nebo, I'm not going to do it because it's a state park. So I would never do that. But,
never.
There are spots that like I feel like I could just go out and just ride down the hill and like,
sure,
see where
and just see where it
the hill
goes.
takes me, and then it's like whatever looks steep and sick, I can hit it, and then maybe just that'll become a real line as we ride it in.
For sure,
the underbrush won't grow back, and it'll kind of just stay sick, and then we can ride a year. Year round.
There you go.
Sick.
No. Okay, dude. It's the sixth season, so. But yeah, dude, I think we got a lot knocked out.
Yeah.
What's next for y'all?
2024. What's the
riding bikes?
Keepers of the trees? What's the goal?
Finding raw lines, downhill track style stuff, bigger jumps.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of video parts.
Video parts. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Maybe some more
Luke
support.
being healed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Support sponsors.
I'm gonna be back quick. We'll
Cool.
see.
Yeah, so like sponsor support
for
just
videos and
Yeah.
either for the brand or like personal would be like
Yeah.
really solid. Yeah, I'd like to get some brands on board, and yeah, it'd be really sick just to kind of like, I don't know, yeah, especially if we could have everyone or like some of us at least on like a
all
like
one
a-
brand
all
together.
one
Together.
brand,
Yeah.
Because then
'cause
like
then-
that makes like either like just for like a sponsorship point of view, like making trips for video parts, like if they were gonna do that, it makes it easier for
and it
all.
makes everyone a lot more motivated too to be like, hey, like you can kind of push it. We got to go do this.
We
for
gotta
whatever.
go film, like,
Versus
kinda
if
like-
it's like
Yeah, that's true.
If it's like just me or just Luke or just Gabriel or whoever has a sponsorship, it's like, okay, well, you have a sponsorship, that's cool, and
But what
we're
does
gonna
that do
go
for
film
us?
for your
Yeah.
sponsorship where you get all the credit, and yeah. So it's
Yeah,
kinda like
so
if we could kind of
word-
And that kind of depends on the filmer. Like I don't really care. Like
Yeah.
I like
Sure.
filming. I enjoy that like
Uh-huh.
almost as much as riding. So like
yeah.
yeah.
But it's nice to get paid for
I
stuff.
mean yeah.
That, and obviously we're not looking for money.
Yeah.
But we're looking for support. And
Yeah,
what
it's
can
not.
drive
It's
us
not. When I
forward.
say money, it's not. Money doesn't like you're looking to get rich off of it.
Yeah.
It's more like just looking for some
like,
gas money.
Yeah.
to
and-
get from spot to
if money's
spot.
gonna drive us forward, or whatever's gonna drive us forward, and then maybe we'll get not rich, but maybe we'll make money off of it just by
Right.
doing what we love. Then that's great.
Right, and like sponsorships are like I help you, you help me kind of thing. Like we're pushing people
Yeah.
to like do the product, and then like we're like representing the product and
Yeah.
like getting, yeah.
And that's what I always try to be like, is like, what can we do for you? And that's
Yeah.
why it's like, I feel like, especially, I mean, like, even if like, they send some T-shirts to some of my friends, it's like, or whoever, whatever, like anything.
It just like increases morale and like stokes so much. Like,
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, like, I just feel like it just builds it up a lot more if it's just so much more hype behind it. And like, to a certain point, it's like I'm just doing my thing and kind of just like, I just kind of forget about it. But like, there's so many people that would just be pushed forward just by getting a little bit of support and like a little pat on the back and like
Right.
just like a push forward.
So brands, I hope you're listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sponsor these dudes.
Yeah, we need a little bit of push. Yeah, we can do it on our own.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is
this year for
definitely
like
nice.
videos at least, like we didn't drop as many as we did last year or wanted to this year just because of certain setbacks. But like this time of year and like winter, we always end up filming a lot because it's good filming weather. Like people have off more.
It's true.
And like
Yeah, the
There's not
summer-
race season.
and the summer's kind of like bummy around here. It's just like too hot, and
Facts.
we're all,
Yeah.
and so we all want to leave, and then it's like we're all in different
Yeah.
parts of wherever,
Yeah.
and so then it kind of just is hard to get everyone together. And
yeah,
we're
we can
not
like get a
focused on
couple
racing.
clips like here or there, but we're not all together, and so it's like not the same kind of feeling and
Not
vibe
the
if
vibe.
you edit it
Yeah.
together. It's
Yeah.
just like
And-
switch from like terrain to terrain, and it's kind of just weird.
Yeah, and something that I personally would like to do is build up like over this off season or whenever is build up like a more jibby style like dual slalom jib bike.
Okay. Yeah.
So like, because I'd like
Yeah.
to start racing dual slalom more and like also build up a dual slalom scene here.
Oh yeah.
Because that's something that they can put like together with the enduro races. Is like the night before the enduro or whatever, have slalom races.
Sets up the race.
Yeah,
So like
and
racers get warmed up.
It could just be a field with and it's just like such a fun thing where everyone it's so much easier for everyone to see, because the thing is with enduro racers, people just whoever
see
just
one
passes
section.
by once, yeah.
One
And versus
glimpse
slalom,
of the person.
You can watch them do like 30 runs on the same track all day.
Yeah, for people who aren't riding, it's interesting, and then like for people who are racing, it's kind of a warm up. Like I know Luke, you won one right before.
Yeah, the
Enduro,
Good
right?
Run. Enduro,
Good Run.
They put on the really
North Hill
good.
or
Good
North
Run is
Fall.
sick. Go to Good Run.
Northwoods. Yeah.
If anyone's
That
looking
was-
for going to Good Run, it definitely make it down.
It's
Sick.
one of the more fun.
Yeah.
Hot Springs is really cool too.
Yeah,
Just like it's a cool
that
town.
trails
The
is-
dirt's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to build up like a filming, jibbing, and just like play slalom bike.
Yeah.
So I can like, because another thing is I always like am scared like, oh, I can't.
It's basically like a free ride bike.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, but
You don't want to
Yeah,
break
maybe-
it right before your race.
Yeah,
True.
It's like I don't want to break this before my race, and also my bike's too big to go ride, like a little pump track or whatever, and go mess
Right.
around on that. And I feel like with the stuff around here, a dirt jump, like riding a dirt jumper around slaughter pins, just like
It's
not
too.
It's a
not
little-
enough.
Yeah, it's not enough. But then
Yeah.
if you get like a little trail bike, that's like perfect.
It's like
area.
right in
'Cause
between
you
the
can go-
sweet spot.
Yeah, you can
in
go
between.
around and throw bars and crank flips on little jumps and threes, but also be able to like
That's a good point.
hit stuff still. So
Yeah.
And like Slaughter Pen is just, specifically Slaughter Pen is kind of just more a little like small travel bike too.
Yeah.
Like I think out of everyone, Luke has the lowest travel one, and like he's the one who's usually like going the highest, and like
Yeah,
Mm.
it's still like a 160 bike though. It's
yeah, and Gabe has, what's your bike?
190, 165.
190.
190.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not anymore, but that's what I had for most of this year. I put the Lyric back on, so it's little now, but
Okay.
yeah, it
What's
was,
little for you?
it's 160.
160's
so,
little.
Yeah.
And mine's 170, 160 with a high pivot.
Okay.
And
Yeah, we
yeah.
both have high pivots, and that's like kind of, it's a tank. Like you're
Right.
hauling that around.
And, yeah, so that's something that I'd like to do is build up a jib film bike, because then I'm
Gotcha.
not worried about breaking it, and it's just more indestructible parts, and I
Right.
can have it set up all the time. Like, because it just sucks having to like have your bike set up for racing and then switch all your suspension set up and have to pump everything up just to
Right.
go hit like
Or even
some
like
jumps.
get to the point where you're changing tires, because like you have race tires and you don't really like, that's another huge weight that you're hauling around all the time.
So
Oh,
that's something I'd like
That's
to do
really-
this year is build up something
Build
a
it.
little
Build a jib bike.
because like the majority of it, I mean, it's just hauling around a big bike, but like I don't want to go out of state on a little bike
True.
to go ride real races.
Yeah.
And that's where you get a lot of support and meet people, and so it's like and that's one of my favorite things to do. So it's kind of like
And that's something you're going to be doing next year as well, right?
next year a lot
Yeah.
of racing, racing.
Y'all going to be
Yeah.
racing too?
Yeah, I'm gonna
No,
get a
Gabe's no
call.
racer.
Yeah, I don't really race.
I'll
as
be
much.
Yeah.
getting
I
in
have
the
a
gym
tank
with
for no reason.
Yeah, I'll be getting in the gym with Lab 1-2.
Okay, gotcha.
And that's who Brody trains with. And
Gotcha.
I trained with him before nationals, and it was really sick.
Yeah.
He's a super cool dude. He's trained Richie Rude. He still does train Richie Rude. He trains Johan Borelli.
Yeah.
Like huge, big names. And so, yeah, I want to get in with him, and I think we're about to set up a plan. So
Nice.
that should be good for racing and just being a stronger and more explosive rider.
Dude.
So shout out to him.
That'll
Yeah.
be summer though. Like this rest of this fall and winter, hopefully,
Yeah.
we'll be filming, and at least some of the spring, and
Yeah.
then they'll switch up to racing
Well,
again.
that's what I'm just gonna. I'm probably
Then
just.
you lose the homies.
Yeah, I'll be
to,
training.
to the
I
races.
mean, then we get videos like kickoff though.
True,
So,
true.
like,
Yeah.
That's right.
And I'll be training when it's too dark to ride, and then I'll just be filming when it's light enough outside. So it should be good. Should be a good winter.
And
Yeah,
Luke,
fall.
and Luke will be healed.
Luke will
right?
be healed.
yeah, he'll be healed up.
I'll probably be healed by December at
I mean,
Good deal.
latest.
you could at least film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always filming.
That's true.
That's
Yeah.
that's the only upside to being injured is like there's still some stuff you can do in bikes at least.
And you can get. That's how I've learned. Just like I've gotten so stoked on riding just by being broken off.
Right.
And like whenever I broke both my wrists, some of my friends were like, "You're never gonna be the same." I broke my collarbone in 4th grade, and I was never the same since. And then I broke both my wrists, and I came back, and like first day on the bike, I was like, man, I've been watching so many YouTube videos.
You're,
I'm
like,
the
ready
best
to
rider
throw
in the
tricks.
world. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
I had to hold myself back.
Yeah.
So.
I was
Yeah.
pedaling 3 months after knee replacement surgery just because I'm sitting in the house and I'm just
Geeking.
you're
Yeah.
just geeking out, and I was like, I'm gonna just try and pedal down I live in Rogers. There's like a little greenway there. And I
Yep.
just started getting it over, and then it's got easier.
Probably
and
honestly
easier.
good for it.
Yeah,
Just
yeah. Get
exercise,
moving.
stretching it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Kaiser came off a he didn't make it out today because he's a little quiet too, and he was like, I'll let. He didn't come on the last one, or he came on the last one, and Luke didn't. So
Oh,
And
gotcha.
Luke's injured too, so it's like,
Yeah.
We'll-
So you just
we'll let
switched
Luke come out.
one injured person
Yeah.
for another
So
injured
there's always
person.
going to be an injured guy. coming?
Yeah,
Okay.
hopefully
Right.
not. But
Yeah.
Kaiser was already throwing bar spins like right after his injury.
There we
He's
go.
Yeah,
gone
There we go.
at U of A.
just out of
Nice.
some
Oh
things.
yeah. I think I saw that, like some U of A jibbing.
Yeah, U of A is great for street,
Yeah.
and like that's kind of, for me at least, that's been really my
Fun-
And
fun
he's a
spot.
BMX dude these days, so
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's another thing that's like kind of nice about here. Like we don't have that much street, but it's new and challenging.
Yeah.
So
And-
like yeah.
But we also have the Bentonville Park coming
yeah.
too.
Yeah,
So the
and,
Bentonville skate park.
And
The indoor
Yeah.
one in a couple years.
Yeah.
We won't be here,
see,
but
we'll see.
yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Is it's like it's a little bit sad because we're all about to be gone,
Uh-huh.
and all the the stuff that we were promised, or what I mean,
Or-
no one owes us anything.
Sure.
but that
Right.
we were like told was coming, and then we've been
Years
stoked
ago,
on since we
yeah.
were since we've been like waiting since we were like in 6th grade, and
Yeah.
now it's like
So-
we're
so-
about to be out of here.
Yeah, since
where is
we
everybody
were
going?
Groms. Like we've been
Right.
waiting.
Gabe's, are you going up north or
Yeah, I'll be going. I'm not sure actually.
trade school
It's a little
probably?
Yeah.
scary, but yeah, something like that.
And
Yeah.
I don't know yet. Maybe I'd love to race in Europe, but we'll see with how the whole enduro thing plays out.
Yeah. Luke, you going
next few
anywhere?
years.
I don't know, maybe get my engineering degree here.
Yeah, here.
Maybe stay around here.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Honestly, U of A is not bad for that. They have a good architecture program and engineering.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
There you go,
Yeah,
dude. Keepers of the trees, dude.
Yeah.
There we
episode
go.
episode down.
It was fun.
Yes,
Appreciate
definitely.
you guys
Well,
coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Same here.
dude.
Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, nice
for
meeting
sure.
you.
Yeah. I'm out on Slaughter Pen all the time, but I'd come see people come and go, rippers come and go.
Yeah.
And
And I was like,
probably
I said-
ran into those guys.
Yeah.
sometime,
I
but
said it. I was like,
yeah.
you've seen these dudes.
Yeah,
they come
probably.
through shredding and then they just leave.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
that was a fun one.
yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Good having you
Thanks
guys.
for having us.
Thanks for
Yeah,
having
dude.
us.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah.